Good afternoon, guys. Lots to learn from our game against Maryland last week, and being able to watch the film a few times and going through the details, offense, defense, special teams. Like the discipline that we played with, only having the 3 penalties. One of them felt was a little questionable, but we had the 3 and felt like we did a good job defensively on 3rd down. Some situational football, getting the stop right before the half, and 2 minutes in the game, in the half right there. Like to create some more explosives on the offensive side of the ball. I think that was maybe one of the biggest, probably differentiating factors in the game in terms of how many explosive plays Maryland created and how many we had. Something that's been a big point of emphasis for practice this week. We know we have a very well-coached team in Holy Cross coming in here. Head coach Bob Chesney, and the success that they've had, I think back-to-back double-digit wins in the last 2 years of their program, winning their league title, I think 2 or 3 years in a row. A lot of continuity on their staff, offensive coordinators. Buffalo native from here. I know his dad is over at St. Francis as well, and there's a lot of hometown connection there, and a lot of respect for defensive coordinator Coach Scott James and the front and the pitchers that they present defensively. I think they're well coached on special teams. I think they play extremely hard. I think it's a program that's used to winning, and we know that they're going to come in here prepared. We're really excited about the plan that we're putting together, correct our mistakes, right our wrongs from Maryland, and make really the big jump from week 1 to week 2. I think that's the biggest thing we're looking to do as a program right now, is improve, grow, learn what we need to learn in all 3 phases of the game, and make that big jump from 1 to 2.
As it relates to getting the offense more explosive, what are the things that you saw in this game that encourage you that you're on your way to it? Or what are the things that maybe needs a little more of that practice?
I think throughout the course of the game against Maryland, Cole Snyder did an outstanding job of ball placement. I think Maryland's DBs had a couple plays where they made that last swipe at the ball right as our receivers were going down to kind of cause those pass breakups. But did a good job with our vertical spacing and our outside throw game and our timing. We tried to come down with a couple of those catches. Finishing with those 50-50 balls and contested catches is a big point of emphasis for us. We were able to create some separation. Now we got to come down and complete those catches. Got to make sure we're strong in protection and give Cole the timing and let him go through his progressions and his reads that he needs to take to get the ball in the hands of our playmakers. But it's like most times when you watch a game and you go through and you review the tape, seldom is it just one single thing that's just a big differentiating factor. It's just making sure that we give him the time that he needs, and then we win those 50-50 balls. And we're going to do some other things that we like in terms of the game plan, some things that they're presenting on film against Holy Cross to get our ball carriers the ball in some space moments.
How do you balance trying to get those explosive plays with also taking what the defense gives you and not maybe trying to do too much in every game?
I think there's a healthy sweet spot you want to be in terms of being aggressive, and then also, when the underneath throws are there, take the throws. When the ball's supposed to go on the flat, go ahead and take the flat. If they're giving it to you, go ahead and take it. But we know ultimately to be successful on offense, in addition to the run game, in addition to protecting the ball, in addition to playing penalty-free, we have to create those explosives. We have to be able to create the chunk yardage plays. And when our game against Maryland, a lot of the game came down to those things. The amount of explosives were very similar. The long yardage plays that Maryland had just outweighed what we were able to produce on the other side of the ball. So I like the plan that we have. I like where we are as an offense. We got to finish some catches, and then we have to continue to have that aggressive mindset. But there is a healthy balance that we want to live in between.
Coach, this team talked all offseason about getting a little bit better every day. How does that kind of morph or change once you're into the season and into a game?
I think when you go from week 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, and we'll watch throughout the course of the season, the teams that ultimately are, holding trophies over their heads are the ones that can push through the adversities that they're faced with through the season, and they can continue to grow and improve throughout the course of the season. You're never really staying the same in football, because so much of time is spent in practice, and we practice so much more than we play. That's why the emphasis is always on improving on a daily basis in practice. Only so many game opportunities that we have, but your team never necessarily stays the same. We want to grow, we want to improve, we want to raise maybe the younger players or the floor of our team, but we also want our big time players to play up to their ability and to continue to push those guys to show up in big moments. So the growth mindset that we have never really stops. In the offseason, so much is spent on that because you don't have the game, but you can see the real improvement from week to week from a tangible standpoint when you watch your team play. What are the corrections that you're looking to make? Were they made? Yes or no? Why or why not? But we made a big emphasis on ball security going into the Maryland game. We did that. We made a big emphasis on playing disciplined football. Felt for the most part of the game we did that. We made a big emphasis on explosive plays. Didn't get that done the way we wanted to, and that'll be a big talking point for us moving forward throughout the course of the season.
You're playing a team, another strong passing game team. What does your pass defense take from what it gained at Maryland and apply to preparing for Holy Cross? And what does it need to improve on?
Yeah, a little bit of a different throw game that Holy Cross presents. Quarterback Sluka did a great job last week against Merrimack. They had a 31-17 win. I think he had over 300 total yards of offense. Pretty balanced. Rushed for over 100. I think he threw for about 230 or 240. They use their quarterback a little bit different than Coach Loxley used theirs. But at the end of the day, playing sound pass defense begins with our front. It begins with our rush. It begins rushing in really disciplined rush lanes with our defensive front, making sure that our match principles are good on the back end. We have great communication. We're understanding how the patterns progress, matching the final two and final three and final one in the count, staying over the top of routes, and then ultimately it's not necessarily about covering guys only in the secondary. It's about winning when the ball's in the air, and I think that's something we made a big emphasis on in the offseason that you saw us be able to do against Maryland. You had Elijah Blades come away with 2 pass breakups. You had Marcus Fuqua that had the PBU and the interception. When the ball leaves the quarterback's hand, it doesn't belong to anybody, right? So you have to win when the ball's in the air. You have to have a great position, great location. You have to play clean, make sure you get your eyes up and back and locate the ball, and then ultimately be the aggressor to go get it.
You mentioned Fuqua before here about how improved he was coming into the season.
Yep.
For him to win Mackey's Defensive Player of the Week, a little bit of a culmination, and the way he played against Maryland on all of that you've told us about. Is there some parallels there?
I know sometimes you guys don't believe me, but we saw Fuqua do a great job. We saw Fuqua do a great job in the offseason of handling his responsibilities from a day in and day out basis. He took those over from the offseason to the spring. His level of play raised in the spring. We mentioned that back in March and April. And then he had a tremendous summer training session and a tremendous training camp. We mentioned that in August about the training camp that he had. And he comes away with MAC Defensive Player of the Week for the East Side. Know that the whole mindset is continuing to grow. There's tons of plays that we want to have back that we want to grow from, that we want to improve upon. But we also recognize the development that's taking place in our locker room with a guy like Marcus Fuqua, who's played a big role for us last year in terms of starting. We had to raise his level of play, and he did that, and he's doing that. And there's a number of guys in that locker room that are doing that right now. It's a very encouraging thing for us is having guys like Fuqua raise their level of play. Sean Dolak's another guy that continues just to develop and grow and improve his level of play. And you want to just, our job as coaches is just continue to push the program forward, continue to not let anyone just exist in the locker room, but we have to move the needle with every single guy, because we don't know when your number's going to be called upon. We don't know when you're going to be the unlikely hero, when it's maybe the third quarter and then all of a sudden you're in the game. And if we don't develop you the right way, we're not going to be prepared for the moment, and you're not going to be your best when your best is needed. So it's a growth mindset in that locker room. Proud of Marcus Fuqua and what he's doing, and we got to continue to move the needle with all the guys.
How hands-on are you with the defensive backs, and is that different at all than last season?
I'm more involved, a lot more involved. I mean, if you come to practice, you see, I'm running a lot of the indies. I'm just getting myself, getting my hands on them a little bit more. I think there's a good, I have to run an entire program. obviously I've spent a lot of time coaching defensive backs at a lot of different levels in a lot of different places, and really the entire back seven of the defense, and just really understanding the intimate details that are involved in just pass defense and run support and those things. And my number one job is to make sure that the program is healthy, to make sure that we are doing everything from a program standpoint to give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful, and then when I can, make sure that my expertise is really used in the best position where it could be used. Still all over special teams. Still spend a lot of time in practice on offense as well. But given a little bit more opportunity to get over there with the DBs and the back seven and spend some time with them.
Speaking of hands-on, you were looking like prime time at the end of practice there. How important is it to you get these guys loose there?
You always got your camera rolling. Don't disrespect prime time like that. That's not even close. I like getting in there. I caught a few footballs with a couple guys and had a good finish to the day. Today was Toughness Tuesday for us. Compete Tuesday, Dominate Tuesday, Take Care of the Ball Tuesday, Take Away Tuesday. So we put a big emphasis on the ball today, and so we finished with some ball drills at the end of practice. Sometimes you got to show the guys it's not just coaching. Don't let the coaching pants fool you. You can still get in there and catch the ball.
With this being the only home game before conference play, I mean, how important is it to get in front of these fans this Saturday?
So excited to be back home. I appreciate you asking that question. So excited to get back home. It feels like forever since we've really been back home. All the way last year, Northern Illinois losing, really in overtime at the last play of the game was the last time we're back home. And we had an opportunity in August to see our students on two different occasions with some welcome back celebratory things that the campus presented. And the energy is up. The excitement is real. I can't wait to see all of our students come back and our fans and supporters and alumni Saturday, September 10th, 6 o'clock this Saturday at home. And just looking forward to getting back home and getting back to a lot of familiar territory for us and flying around and making plays and having fun and having a great Saturday with the guys.
Your running backs, he used the rotation of Ron Cook, Mike Washington, and L.J. Henderson against Maryland. And they're balanced in production, I mean, 33, 53, and 27. Are you going to continue rotating backs, or do you want one of those guys to really take the reins and become the number one here?
No, we talked about, and it's a great question, Rachel. We talked about, really a little bit of a committee with the running back group that we had. You saw L.J. Henderson in the spring have 3 touchdowns. We mentioned him in training camp as a guy that's really emerging. A la like Marcus Fuqua, Sean Dolak, and some of these guys, and you see L.J. Henderson come away with a long touchdown run against Maryland. We love what Ron Cook brings to the table. He's got a lot of great balance and body control and vision in between the tackles. And then you watch the Maryland game, we were able to get him the ball out in some space on a couple of different occasions and create some big plays in terms of the throw game that we can use him with. And then Mike Washington's a big hammer in the middle. I think he averaged about 5 yards a carry against Maryland. He can fall forward, he can break tackles, he can run his feet on contact, and we love the balance that all 3 of the backs bring to the table, and we're going to continue to highlight all 3.
As you look at Holy Cross and you mentioned their success, do those things translate from watching film? Is it veteran guys? Is it discipline? Regardless of what level are they at, or do you see things that indicate to you that a good, successful team that knows how to win?
100%. I mean, you look at the balance. One, they're an older team. Tons of juniors, tons of seniors, tons of guys that have multiple double-digit starts under their belt on offense and defense. Quarterback does a really good job of taking care of the ball. They use him in a very versatile way. They fly around on defense. 2 linebackers got a lot of respect for the way they play. Secondary all-conference player at corner coming back from last year. They were able to get 2 interceptions, 2 takeaways in the throw game against Merrimack last week. So you see a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, that have had a lot of success, that have played together with a lot of continuity. They play extremely hard. I think their culture is strong, and you can see by how they play. And we know we have to prepare ourselves to be our best. We have 100% respect for the team and the program that Bob Chesney is running right now, and everything that they're doing. But ultimately, and you know this, football is about yourself and your preparation. It's about doing what you do and doing it well and improving at all levels of the game for yourself. Holy Cross happens to be the opponent this week, but we know we're going to have to be our best and continue to make that jump from 1 to 2. There's tons of things that we did on tape last week that we know we have to correct and improve upon, but we're excited about the challenge ahead of us.
Does it help you in any ways that this game is more difficult in competitive than maybe last year's game against Maryland?
you know, that's a great comment. It's a great thought, and I would say, you know, that this team that we have right now has been handling the hard that we've been presenting to them in a very mature way, and I do think that this is an extremely quality opponent coming in that we know we have to get ready for, like every week you do, of course, because anybody in college football can beat you any week. But we know we got to get ready, and we respect that. And I think it does create that good urgency that you must have to prepare the way you need to prepare. And I think it's a great point of view and lens that you're looking at it out of, because you grow when you are presented with something hard and a hard challenge, and you can overcome that challenge. So we're looking forward to putting our best foot forward against a conference champion type of team coming into our house to give us a good measuring stick of where we are as a program, and to really bring to light a lot of things that we believe to be true about ourselves as well.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thanks for your time, everyone.
Thanks, guys.